stream. We'll do it that way. I'm out of coffee, so let's start the show.
See, that's why you bring 2 mugs.
And we're live here on YouTube. I'd like to welcome those listening in podcast land. I'd like to welcome my buddy Rich. Rich, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. A little sore, as I was actually in the gym all 4 days this week that they had classes scheduled. This
Good.
is like I think the first time since my injury. So a thank you to my buddy Kevin Knorr for giving me that motivation to get back in there, even if it's because we're kind of helping each other out, getting in there more consistently. So
Yeah.
getting in there more consistently, even if but that's what's getting me up in the morning to get there at 5 a.m. Because I don't want to hear from him via text message of where you were at. Kind of hoping where I was at.
Yeah.
And and I think we're finally getting caught up on our work, and it's a short week this week for me, as I get Monday and Tuesday off this week.
Nice.
So.
That's exciting.
That's holidays.
Holiday. Oh, yeah. We don't.
We get veterans. They give us Veterans Day off, and because Veterans Day is on a Tuesday, they made Monday a floating holiday, floating unofficial holiday. So we get Monday off.
We don't get it off, and apparently in the policy, what had previously been given, it didn't affect me, but had previously been given to veterans. If you were a vet, you got the day off. They don't get the day off this year because it's not actually in the policy, and so man, it was a big week in sports. Lots of stuff to talk about. I'll get in that in a little bit. Had a good week. Kind of tired, but other than that, good week. Got to hang out with the family. So, with that, we have NASCAR. We'll have the last NASCAR full corner of the year, I would say. We'll have some pit stops throughout the winter, especially because we have stuff still hanging over the entire NASCAR world. But in general, no, we didn't end up with
and then of course we have our NFL talk, and we got baseball. We got the World Series to recap. I don't know if we'll get into what the Cubs are doing or what we feel they should do this week, but that could be a topic for next week, Mike. But all that and more, but what do we got to do first?
We got to go ahead and roll the intro. Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa, this is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rich. And we're back. Okay, Rich, before we do anything, as always, we have poll questions. Our wild card poll questions. So wild card is Rich picked 2 activities he thought deserved to make it farther than they did.
Mm-hmm.
And
those activities that did not win their respective polls.
Yeah, so Rich's 2 were picnics and boating. We'll get into what my 2 wild cards are after we talk about this one. Rich, how did you vote?
I don't remember what I voted for, so I'm gonna have to look it up. I believe that it says I voted for picnics. Okay. So we don't take them as often as we do, but with kids on the way, I'm sure as our family expands, I'm sure picnics will be a bigger part of our family activies, as boating is maybe like a once a year thing, and boating's only like a once a year thing.
So I picked boating because I'm hoping to make it more than a once a year thing.
Mm-hmm.
and I enjoy doing it. So I'm hoping there's still crazy stuff going on, but if I can make it happen, if we can make it get to the point where it happens, I would like to have a boat, and if I have a boat, then I can go, every weekend. And the type of boat I want to get, you can have a picnic on.
Oh, okay.
So
Gotcha.
I picked
All right,
boating, but inevitably picnics win, as 4 people voted for it and 3 people voted for boating. Those joining me for boating are Ron Lehmans and AJ Hendricks. And those voting for picnics, Pam Hendricks, Matt Johnson, Danielle Hart, and Rich Hendricks. Rich, you and I both disagreed with our wives this week.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, Mike. So, what are your 2 wild card activities that did not go as far as you thought they would, that you want to give a second chance and throw into our all activities?
So my
bracket?
biggest one is fireworks. Fireworks lost in the first round.
Yeah, it lost in the first round to camping.
Yeah.
Which was surprising. I did not see that one coming.
Yeah. So we're gonna give fireworks a chance to take on trick or treating, which we did only 2 weeks ago or a week ago. So
I think it was a couple weeks ago. I think trick or treating.
No. I'm saying we trick or treated.
Okay, because you did trick or treat
Right
recently. Okay.
Right.
All right. So I've got that poll scheduled. I believe it's going to go live at around 9 o'clock.
Yep.
10 o'clock. One of the two. So watch for that. You can find our poll questions on Fans of Balls and Sticks over on Facebook. And if you look up Mike and I on Facebook, that's where the polls are as well.
Yep.
Mike, for one last time, do you see what's coming up next?
Is it a left turn, Rich?
It is a left-hand turn, and what's after that?
Is that another left-hand turn?
It is, Mike, and tell them why.
Because we're heading into the NASCAR corner, presented as always by Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated, Moline, Illinois. Check them out for all your sports memorabilia needs on 5th Avenue in Moline or on their eBay store. Once again, that is Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated. So this week before we do that, Rich, before we do that, I have to talk about a roller coaster of emotions.
You do. I'm sorry. I did forget that you were on a...
It is related to the NASCAR corner, but it's the end of the NASCAR corner.
I think I've got better than a roller coaster of emotions, Mike.
Yeah.
One of our favorite movies, like Anchorman, where you win a glass case of emotions.
By the end of it, I felt like I was. And so do a lot of people, at least one of the guys that we're going to talk about here in a second. Okay? So first, we got to talk about this. Friday's game was crazy. We talked about that last week. Saturday's game was a roller coaster ride. Rich, going into the 9th inning, you won the bet. I'm ready to pack it up. Rich, I was legitimately ready to text you and be like, so where do you want to eat over Thanksgiving? I'm taking you out. And then Miguel Rojas hits a home run. A guy that hasn't had a hit in a month. Yeah.
That was Friday because Saturday we recorded and the Saturday night, or was that? Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. It's a week ago, Mike. So,
yeah,
you're right. The Miguel Rojas was the 9th inning.
9th inning, wins it, ties it up, and watching Yam come in and just 3 scoreless innings, and to have the Dodgers win it, and all of a sudden now I'm getting free lunch. And I'm like, man, that was a great game. Going to be talking about that one for years. Then,
We'll talk
and
more
we're going
about
to talk
the-
more about that in a second. Don't get me
We'll
wrong.
talk more about that. We'll talk more about the specifics of that series
Because
later on in the show.
I'm kind of glossing over a couple of plays that happened in the 9th, 10th, and subsequently the 11th inning. Like, I am glossing over some things that happened there that also were rises and falls in the order of this roller coaster. I'm giving you the Cliff Notes version of this roller coaster. Then Sunday, sitting down watching the Bears game, Bears got it locked up. I'm feeling great. Do it, like, call my dad, see how he's doing, because we'd like to catch up. He flips on the game. All of a sudden, the Bears game goes into a roller coaster. Again, we will talk about that in a minute or two. But inevitably, the Bears pull it off.
Yeah, and I will admit, Mike, when you were bringing this up, roller coasters, I was like, what are you talking about? Because admittedly, Mike, my wife and I enjoy more watching NASCAR together than we do football. So when the Bears game got out of hand and I had noticed, hey, the NASCAR race is starting, I flipped over to the NASCAR race, not thinking that the Bengals would. I was expecting some garbage time touchdowns because that's what happens when you're up big. But to know that it got tied up, and then the way the
It didn't even get tied up.
When it was different.
We were losing. We were hoping to tie it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I didn't see the end of the Bears game to know that it had gotten that close because I was.
So then,
NASCAR race.
we're not even done with the weekend yet. Then I turn on the NASCAR race. And Rich, we've talked about my favorite driver is Denny Hamlin.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know who my favorite driver was before Denny Hamlin?
Mark Martin.
Mark Martin. You know who never won a championship in his entire career?
Was it Mark Martin?
Mark Martin. You know who hasn't yet won a championship in his entire career?
Denny Hamlin.
Denny Hamlin. I'm watching the race. Denny is dominating the race. Has the car to beat by far and away. Drives through traffic fine, gets up front, does what he does, leads the race, drives away from people. I'm gonna get into detail because we are in the NASCAR corner.
We are in the NASCAR.
I'm getting into this one. Watching tires fall off, tires blow out, watching all sorts of craziness. The team is doing what they can to keep him up front. They have a couple of little mistakes here and there, but nothing huge. Couple times where, like one time, the biggest one was when his tire was actually flat. His left rear was actually flat, and they had to use 2 jacks to get the car up. Dropped him back into like 8th place. And I'm like, man, but there's still a lot of time. So he gets his way all the way up to the front again. Happens again. Another tire goes towards the end. They shuffle around. He gets shuffled 3 spots back, and or 3 or 4 spots back. Comes in with 4 tires. Shows everybody, this is my time. This is my time, people. Gets back to the lead and puts a 2-second gap on the field with 3 to go. 2-second gap. That's huge. 40 more seconds and it's over. That's how quick he's going through this track. But then a tire blows in the third. 2 seconds. I'm thinking, I legit was getting emotional talking to Danielle about it. I've been waiting my entire life to watch a man win a championship that I've been cheering for years. Caution comes out. His team puts 4 tires on. By the way, 100% the right call. Mm-hmm. Except for the fact that 2 guys decided to stay out. And like 6 guys, including but not limited to Kyle Larson and one other playoff driver, take 2 tires. No big deal. Hamlin already was like, in the last time this happened, he was able to get through everybody and get in front in a lap and a half. There's a big difference when you're talking, by the way, about passing 3 guys versus passing 6 guys.
Mm-hmm.
Sure enough, in the green-white checkered, Denny is doing great. However, can't get past Kyle Larson. Can't get up to the win. It's over. But the man should have won that championship. That was a hard one for me. Rich, you know me. I love sports. I'm invested in sports, but it doesn't really affect me. Like, oh man, that was a bummer, is about as big of a reaction when the Bears lose, or even in big games, or Denny Hamlin doesn't do well. But it was so close. Like, this one truly hurt me. I have not been hurt by a loss in a race, in anything in my life as much as this one affected me. Like, this hurt.
Yeah, and I'll admit, with the NASCAR race, while I got to watch the beginning of the race, when you really start getting invested and seeing where your drivers are at and everything, is like in the midway through the third stage, is when it really, midway through the final stage, that's when you're really glued in. But we had a church function that we had to go to, so I didn't even get to watch the end of that race.
So you didn't get to ride the 2 biggest roller coasters of the weekend?
Nope. I did not. So, Mike, because we're in the NASCAR corner, you gave your thoughts on, watching Denny Hamlin.
By the way, I got to finish this one up, because I didn't give you all the backstory. I gave you my backstory. I didn't give you Denny Hamlin's backstory.
Okay, go ahead.
Denny Hamlin's dad, who makes it to most of his races, is battling cancer right now, and was so sick that he couldn't come to the race. This is likely the last race that Denny Hamlin's father will watch of Denny Hamlin's career. I can't imagine right now how bad Denny Hamlin feels. Like, he's talked about it. This is the most heartbreaking loss in his life. He cared about winning the race. And by the way, if you watched the race at all, you knew that Denny Hamlin was the most dominant driver of the day. And yet he still doesn't get the championship to bring home to Dad. Knows that during this offseason, likely going to lose his dad. And yet, still, how hard would it be to go out and compete knowing that your dad is so sick at home that he can't leave the house, essentially? It's rough. All that being added up, heartbreaking weekend. Okay, let's get into positions and how everybody ran. Go ahead, Rich.
All right. So as Mike already talked about, the overall playoff winner was Kyle Larson, as he was the highest finishing playoff driver. I think he finished 4th, wasn't it? 4th was the highest of the championship drivers. Our drivers, Mike, Denny Hamlin, your pick to win it all, your favorite driver, and your playoff driver pick finished 6th. My pick of William Byron came in 33rd. And so, Mike, that took you out of your win it all with your drivers needing to finish 1, 2, 3, as your non-playoff driver pick of Joey Logano came in 4th, and my extra driver pick for you of Christopher Bell, who I thought was a playoff driver but wasn't, finished 11th. My other 2 playoff picks were my favorite driver, Ross Chastain, who came in 13th, and your race winner, Ryan Blaney. So as we said, with this unusual 3 drivers finish 1, 2, 3, you can close that 5-point gap and win it all. Didn't happen. So the way I decided to divvy up the points is I got 2 points for Ryan Blaney winning the race, and I gave you 2 points, Mike, for Denny Hamlin finishing higher amongst the playoff drivers that we chose, and Bell finishing higher than Chastain, making a final score 29-24 for the year.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I because we were at a church function, I really wasn't watching my phone to see who won. It was when we got home around 8 o'clock that night that I opened up the app to see who actually won the race, or I had notifications on my phone to say, Kyle Larson, your championship winner, and Blaney being the race winner. Didn't get a chance to see what all caused Denny Hamlin to go from leading the race when we left to 6th place.
Yeah.
So
it was rough.
I can imagine, Mike. I can imagine. I'm sure maybe I probably would have felt the same way seeing Chastain, because I thought he was running pretty well during the early stages too, and then seeing him, I was almost thinking, man, am I gonna have a 1-2? Am I gonna have a 1-2 finish between Blaney and Chastain?
Yeah. So, with that, Rich, you won the season at 29-24. Man, such a good year. We're not gonna talk about it this week because there's no updates other than they're going into depositions for the lawsuit. But the lawsuit's hanging over NASCAR's head all season. They still put on a great year.
Yeah.
I'm totally thrilled with it. It was great. And if I can keep up with doing daily trivia, we might get to go to a race next year.
Gotcha. So yeah, I think so we're looking forward to it. I think I got enough points through NASCAR's fan rewards to get tickets, and I ended up pulling the trigger and cashing in the points to get free tickets for the fall race in Kansas. Only caveat is that you don't know where your seats are going to be, and you might not find that out until the week before the event. So that could make booking a hotel, and that could make booking a hotel a little bit.
I mean, you booked a hotel. You just booked a hotel. I have a plan for that. I have a concept for that. So we're looking forward to getting back to a NASCAR track. I've already submitted the time off for work and got that approved. So I'm looking forward to getting back to the racetrack. I think I would have liked to have gotten to a new track that I hadn't visited yet. But when the tickets are free, you got to go to the track that's nearest you. Yep.
So especially if it's not going to be a full weekend thing, and it could turn into just a going there, getting into town the day before the race and leaving the day after the race. All right, Mike. So go ahead and take us out.
I took us in. You take us out.
Oh, I'm sorry, I did. All right, so that was the NASCAR Corner. From here on out, the NASCAR Corner will probably be a quick hit, and we'll have to transfer our sponsorship to another section of the show. But that was the NASCAR Corner presented by Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated, Moline, Illinois, and you can also find them on eBay. Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated. So, Mike, the other hill that you alluded to on your roller coaster was the Bears game. Bears-Bengals in
2 in 1 day, by the
Cincinnati.
way. Yeah.
Mike, you went with the Bears. I stuck with my preseason pick of the Bengals. The Bears win 47-42, bringing both of us, and the Bears to 5-3 on the year. So, like I said before, in your soapbox conversation of your roller coaster weekend, when the Bears were up by that many points and the NASCAR race was starting, and knowing that I wouldn't get to finish watching the NASCAR race, I flipped over to the NASCAR race.
Yeah,
because that's what my wife and I that's what my wife enjoys watching more than football. So I was never expecting that much to go on. From a fantasy perspective, yeah, I was wanting some garbage time for Flacco and Jamar Chase because I have them on one of my fantasy teams. So I was hoping for some garbage time yardage and touchdowns, but I would have never thought that it would have turned into the Bengals actually taking the lead and then the Bears going in for trying to get into a position to tie the game and go into overtime, let alone how they won it with a big 50-yard touchdown from rookie Colton Loveland.
Yeah, the amount of craziness that happened at the end of that game, the amount of 5 minutes left, I think the Bears had a 13-point lead.
Mm-hmm.
I called I called my dad just to see how his day was going and thinking, oh, the game's over. It's not that big of a deal. And then he turns it on and what? What's happening now? And
yeah, but even the announcers alluded in there that for whatever reason the Bengals just start playing football in the fourth quarter with the way that team is. So if your defense isn't letting up and isn't when your defense isn't going more into prevent mode or all right, let's not get injured, that's when a team like the Bengals that plays no defense but has great offensive players can get back into games like they do.
Yeah, and that makes sense. But I can't, it's hard for me when I look at it. How do you do this? It's been rough. It was a rough week.
Yeah, but you know what? A win's a win.
Yeah.
So you'll take it any way you can get it, even if. So we'll have to see where, with the wins and losses, where the Bears end up in the power rankings later on once we get through our NFL talk. Mike, how did the locks of the week go?
So, Rich, last week I picked the Cowboys over the Cardinals. The Cardinals won, giving me my first loss of the year. 8-1 is my record. Rich, you picked the Rams over the Saints. The Rams won 34-10, bringing you to 7-2. Rich, how'd the upset specials of the week go?
Upset specials, Mike, you picked the Vikings over the Lions. I was kind of skeptical on that one, but there really wasn't much to choose from. But the Vikings ended up winning 27-24, breaking your losing streak and getting you to 5-4 on the year. Mike, my pick of the Raiders over the Jaguars, so close, but it was 30-29 Jaguars, dropping me to 0-9. But I really can't feel that bad because the game-winning field goal for the Jaguars, 68 yards. 68 yards by Cam Little, setting the all-time record for longest field goal. So those Raiders almost went into Jacksonville and got the win. Almost. So close to breaking my 0-9 streak. Hopefully it happens this week. And then, Mike, Thursday Night Football was the Raiders and the Broncos. We alluded to it that it's a kind of a hard game to pick because the Raiders seem to do, for whatever reason, they play really well in division games. And I started watching this game, but because of just being tired and wanting to get to bed, not having much invested in this game, didn't watch all of it. it didn't seem like I missed much, as it was a 10-7 Broncos victory, and I think they alluded that there was a lot of penalties in this game.
Yeah, it was a terrible game. This game, like I'm gonna put it out there. To me, this game felt like old school Thursday night football.
How old school Thursday night football?
Back when Thursday night football was a thing, like was terrible. Nobody wanted to watch it because it was a terrible terrible game to watch. And nobody watched it, nobody cared, and everybody was annoyed with it. And because of that, like, Thursday night's got a bad rap. It was punt, 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 punt. Oh, interception. Punt, 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 punt. Interception. Hey, we got a touchdown. How'd we do that? I don't know. We got a touchdown. How'd we do that? I don't know. Oh, we get
a great special teams play. A great special teams play put them in a position to get an easy punch in for a touchdown.
The Broncos get the ball in the red zone. Start a drive in the red zone because of an interception. Start the drive in the red zone because of an interception. And they only could pull
a punt return. There was a good punt return that put them within the red zone.
They were in the red zone starting a drive. And you're telling me right now that he couldn't have that they couldn't get a touchdown out of that? All they got was a stupid field goal? And we're talking about the top team in the AFC West, by the way. Can we point that out?
Yeah.
Record-wise, when we get to power rankings, you're going to see that's not at all the case. But, like, how do you do this? How is this game this bad?
Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that as an old school Thursday night game where it's...
Because Thursday night games were good again.
They were. So if this was a game that you could have... If this was a week where Thursday night could flex out, do you think this would have been a matchup to flex and get in a better matchup?
No! It should have been a good game! It 100% should have been a good game. There's no reason why it should have not. They should have lost. This game should have been as bad as it was.
Yep, because I don't think the weather was a factor. I don't remember them talking about the weather, it being like a very windy day, and it was just two quarterbacks that were getting sacked and interceptions or drives just dying.
Yeah.
So we said it was a 10-7 Broncos victory. Mike, you were 5-6 on the midweek games. I'm 7-4.
With that, we have Week 10. Rich, with Week 10, do you think the Giants or the Bears are going to win in Chicago?
Game's in Chicago, so I'm going to go with the Bears.
Duh, Bears, the 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 Bears.
Yeah.
Lock of the week, Rich. You have the honors.
I do. All right, I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions over the Commanders.
Okay.
Lions are. I was kind of disappointed with that loss against Minnesota last week, but it is a division game, and Jaden Daniels suffered a really bad elbow or shoulder injury, where some were even calling, why was he even in the game with it being that, with the Commanders down that much? So I think the drop-off from Marcus Mariota under center gives the Lions the edge.
I agree with that as in premise, but then we literally just got done talking about how the Bears, like, would you ask why Joe Flacco was in the game when they were down 13 with 5 to go?
It was worse. It was worse than 13 points.
I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. I'm not saying I agree or
All
not.
right.
I'm
All
just
right.
putting
And
it out there.
my upset special, because your lock of the week will be better if I give my upset special first.
Yeah.
My upset special to break my streak, I'm going to go with the Patriots over the Buccaneers. The Patriots, I think, are playing a lot better than people thought they were. The Buccaneers have a lot of injuries on that squad, so I think I was surprised that the pick differential on the Yahoo app was so much in favor of the Buccaneers.
And
So
Rich,
I will take the Pats.
I was toying with between two games on my locks of the week, and you picking the Patriots over the Buccaneers locked in that I'm going to pick the Bucs over the Patriots. Let's go. You could just pencil that in as that I got that win and you didn't. And then for my lock of the week, I'm going to pick the Niners over the Rams as an upset.
Upset.
Sorry,
Yeah.
upset of the week. As that it's a divisional game, both teams are playing well. I think this will be a lot closer than what the pick differential was. I think it's closer to a pick'em game, especially being a divisional game. So I'm gonna go with the Niners on this one.
All right. I like the pick. Thursday Night Football, Week 11. It looks like we could have either this is going to be a blowout or it's going to be a weird close game because it's a division game. This is one where I would probably say, can you flex this one out? But I don't think it's that type of week. It's a week that they can do that, but it's going to be the Jets and the Patriots, Mike, in Foxborough. I'm going to go with the Pats.
I'm going to go with the Pats too. We're getting ready to go into the power rankings, and that's going to tell us how bad those Jets really are. So, are you ready, Rich?
Yes, I am.
Let's go into the power rankings as it is going into week 10. So, Rich, this week's power rankings, I do have the yellow working and all that stuff is working, but we're going to pay attention to our power rankings, and then we'll, if you want, we can do all the other. We're doing all right on time. So, number one, they lost, but I still think it's fine. I'm going with the Colts. Still the best team in the NFL.
Yeah, I put the Colts here at number one. It's not a confident number one, but when I've had the Detroit Lions above them for so many weeks, and now they're sitting at 5-3, and the Colts are 7-2. It's a 7-2 that's probably they're 7-2 because of the teams that they're playing on a weaker schedule, as opposed to who the Lions are playing.
Yep.
But I'll give them the respect. But it could be, but if the Steelers are the team that found out how to stop them, and the other teams pick up on that, and they're able to stop them too, that could lead to them falling in the rankings. But at least
100%.
For the first time this week, the first time this year, I will respect the record and put them at number one.
Yeah, we're right at that transition period for you, Rich, where you start looking at.
Not yet. It's still a little bit. I think we're not in the fantasy playoffs yet. When the fantasy playoffs start, that's when I probably transition over that the top teams have to be eligible for the playoffs.
Yeah. So, I number two, who you got, Rich?
I put the Philadelphia Eagles here mostly. I think I was debating whether to keep the Lions at 2, but the Eagles have a better record than the Lions, so that's why I gave the edge to the Eagles.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think the Eagles get the spot here. The Lions are my number 3, and that's because they lost to the Packers. They dropped.
They also the Vikings.
Or the Vikings. The Vikings. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, I went with Detroit here too. I think they're in my head. I think that they're a better team than the Colts and the Lions, but you got to look at who they've beaten, who they've lost to, and that's why they dropped. Number 4, Mike, because I updated because of what you pointed out between the Chiefs losing. I put the Los Angeles Rams at number 4.
Okay, this is where I have the Buffalo Bills. They beat the Chiefs. They have a 6-3 record on the year. They're doing great, or is it 6-2? Have they
I
had?
have it 6-2.
Okay, 6-2. Yeah, 6-2 record. Great team. Great team. Looking good. Now, as we get closer to the playoffs, and then the Chiefs are in playoff mode, and the Bills are gonna lose to them, that's gonna be a different story. That's what happens. So we're not there yet, but as of right now, Bills are number 4, and number 5 is the Chiefs.
Okay. I put the New England Patriots at number 5. Much like the Colts, their record is based on their easy schedule, but at the same time, they did beat the Buffalo Bills.
Okay.
But I don't like that their losses are to the Raiders and the Steelers, though.
Yeah. And soon to be the Bucks. With that, Rich, let's go to that was number what number was that?
Number 5. Number 6 is where I put the Buffalo Bills.
Okay.
They came back down to earth. They came back down to earth. They came back to what we would think their winning ways by beating the Chiefs. You got to reward that. You pointed out that, hey, you need to reward that as a good win instead of grading them off of their losing streak.
Yep.
But I can't have them above I can't get them above the Patriots because they lost to the Patriots.
I don't think that the Patriots are good enough to be up there, but number 6 is where I have the Los Angeles Rams. You know, good team. They're both really good teams. I think these middle 4, the 5, 6, 7, are pretty interchangeable for me. So I think the Bills are a little bit better than the Rams, and so yeah, I would go with that at number 6. At number 7, I have the San Francisco 49ers. I think they're not a better team than the Rams, but I picked them this week because because they are divisional rivals, and those games people get up for. By the way, if the Niners win, they go above the Rams.
Yep.
That's just
I can agree with that.
what's going to happen, and it's going to be one spot. And that's just how it's going to go. The Rams won't lose a ton for it, but the Niners also won't gain a ton for it. So,
okay.
Who do you have at number 7, Rich?
7, I went with Seattle. So, Seattle, I'm going with, that they're probably much like I'm going with Seattle because I think they're exceeding their expectations.
Okay,
year.
that is a reasonable argument for putting them higher.
And their losses are to good teams, like in the 49ers and the Buccaneers, where you look at a team like the 49ers, who have a similar record based on where the bye weeks fell. They have, for me, 2 bad losses with Jacksonville and Houston, 2 teams that are both bad. They both lost to the Buccaneers. So that's why I gave the edge, even though
here's my argument on this.
Even though I do notice now that the Seattle and Seattle holds the head-to-head matchup.
San Francisco holds the head-to-head matchup.
The head-to-head matchup, but I'm going to stick with it because we're on the air now. I'm not going to adjust it. I'm going to stick with Seattle.
I have Seattle at number 8, so full transparency there. But my big thing is, and I like your point about exceeding expectations. However, when 2 teams are evenly matched, talent-wise and record-wise, the kicker for me is always going to be their head coach. Whose head coach do you want coaching your team?
I would say Shanahan, but here's a caveat to that.
Yeah?
Shanahan, Mike McDonald in Seattle does have a Kyle Shanahan disciple calling the offense.
Okay.
In Clint Kubiak.
Here's I'm a flip the script, make it slightly religious. Would you want to follow Paul or would you want to follow Jesus?
I follow Jesus.
Okay, you want to follow the guy, not the disciple of the guy. there you go. That's why I would say
Yep.
49ers all day in that
Okay.
one. That's just,
So before we move on to number 8, though,
yeah.
I'm seeing one other thing on what could have led me to fully put the Seahawks above it.
Yeah.
The 49ers have lost to the Jaguars and the Texans. Seattle has beaten the Texans and the Jaguars.
But
So
the
the
Niners
two
beat
teams-
the Seahawks.
Yeah. So I'm just looking for ways that maybe see it. I know we're not that far apart.
We're not far enough apart to really make it that big of a deal, but I like the conversation.
Exactly.
Again, I'm not disagreeing with your arguments. I'm just saying, for me, the way I looked at it was I think these teams are very similarly talent-wise. I just think I want Kyle Shanahan coaching my team before I want who is it up in Seattle again? Kubiak?
McDonald.
Oh,
Mike
McDonald.
McDonald.
Yeah, definitely over Mike McDonald.
All right, so number 8, Mike. I went with the Kansas City Chiefs here.
Ooh.
Mostly because it's a 5-4 record. While their losses are to good teams like the Chargers, the Eagles, the Bills, they're still 5-4. So I think I'm putting those close losses, holding them against them, but they've got their team back with Rashee Rice and Pat Mahomes is back to that offense, seems to be clicking. So they'll probably be on their way back up into the top, closer into the top 5 next week as they get some more wins underneath them.
Okay. I already said that I have the Seahawks at 8. Who do you have at 9, Rich?
9, this is where I put the 49ers. So
okay. Yeah.
I mean,
yep. So at number 9 is where I have the Patriots, by the way.
Okay.
I think lots of problems with that, and the AFC East, even though they have the Bills in there, there's so much about it that not really trusted. At number 10, Rich, the guy that I think deserves everything because he brought greatness to a team that then pooped him out and said, go away, and is playing great. Baker Mayfield and your Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, I put Tampa here too. It's something that's come up on my Facebook feed a couple of times, but Bryce Young kind of had probably a disappointment for a number 1 overall pick, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
And Sam Darnold's doing pretty good down in Seattle, did pretty good up in Minnesota.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, both players were on the Carolina Panthers at one time.
Yeah.
And they let both of them out the door. It's basically one of those points where I think the post is making coaches make a difference.
Yeah.
They had Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold on the same QB in the same QB room, and both were disappointing, put up disappointing numbers in Carolina, and then now they both leave and get put under offensive coordinators that have been in Tampa. Even Sean McVay. Sean McVay had Baker for half a season, and then he goes off to Tampa, and 2 of his offensive coordinators are now head coaches in the league, and he's still putting up great numbers week to week and guiding the Buccaneers, not even missing a beat after Tom Brady retires.
Yep.
All right, Mike, where do you have the Chicago Bears? So they weren't in the top 10 before we go to our bottom 5.
So actually, I want to do the entire NFC North.
Very well.
Because 13, 14, 15 are where I have the rest of the North. 13 is the Bears, 14 is the Vikings, 15 is the Packers.
Not far off. I have the Bears at number 13. I put the Packers at 15 and the Vikings at 16.
And then
I know that probably you're holding that tie against the Packers.
Against a tie against the Dallas Cowboys, a team that's in the bottom 10 Yes. Yes, I will. Every day. If you can't find a way to beat them in 5 quarters, that hurts you a ton.
Okay. All right, Mike. Bottom 5.
Okay.
Bottom 5.
Bottom 5. We're going to start at 28, where I have the Miami Dolphins.
All right. I put the Cleveland Browns at number 28.
29 is where I have the Cleveland Browns.
I put the Miami Dolphins here because there's a head-to-head matchup.
Okay, I can go with that. Who do you got at 30, Rich?
30, I put the Saints.
Yep. I don't think we're going to have an argument on any of the bottom 3.
Okay.
At 31.
The Jets.
Jets, Jets. And at 32, I have the Tennessee Titans.
Yep.
Yeah,
Titans.
like, I think you could make an argument for the Raiders being in the bottom. You could make an argument for the Giants and the Raiders being in the bottom 5 fairly easily. Mm-hmm. But somebody has to get the benefit of not being in the bottom 5. And
yeah, I mean, I could see the Jets. I could see the Jets getting into 32, into that 30, going all the way down to the worst team in the league because of what they chose to do at the trade deadline.
Yeah,
they are set. I like the moves from a standpoint of, all right, we're not winning this thing, and by the time we are going to be a good team, these guys aren't going to be able to. These guys are going to be on the bad part of their contracts and trading away their best defensive player, 2 of their best defensive players, and, Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner for draft picks. Yeah, but
I get it. I get
it's probably only going to get worse this year, where maybe the Titans will finally figure it out as Cam Ward gets more reps underneath his feet.
I'm going to say that the Giants and the Raiders just get the benefit of you are part of the bottom 5. There's only 5 spots though. I can't make the bottom 5 7. That's hard for me because the bottom 5 should be the bottom 7.
At least with the Giants, you can point to their wins against teams that are in that top 12 or top 15 in getting a win against the Eagles and the Chargers.
Doesn't Miami have one of those, though?
Miami has wins against the Jets and the Falcons.
Oh, never mind. That's bad.
So their wins aren't against teams in the top 15, at least. And the Raiders beat the Patriots and the worst team in our power rankings, the Tennessee Titans.
Right. Yeah, I just...
What drives Miami down for me is that you expected them to be better, and they're just falling. They keep on falling apart, and it's not due to Tua Tagovailoa being injured. It's that team just is not.
I will make the argument it is about Tua Tagovailoa being injured. It's the fact that they're not letting. If you watch, they're not. He's not taking the hits, which is good. It's helping him stay healthy. But because of that, he's playing scared of getting injured. And by playing that scared of getting injured, he's not playing well enough to get it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. They're designing their offense around him not taking hits. So
right.
They're not throwing the ball. They're relying a lot on screen passes and their speedy wide receiver, who their best one, Tyreek Hill, is gone. Probably to get the yards after the catch.
And everything that they're letting him do is to not get hurt. They are literally just playing for him to not get hurt. And that, to me, is the problem. So, if they let him play, if they just let him play football, he probably dies on the field, which none of us really want to see, but if they let him just play football, I bet he plays better. Now, the possibility that he gets another concussion and we all have to watch him go into the fencing pose. I'm not trying to make fun of it. I'm just saying we're all going to see that happen, and when we see that happen, it's going to cause huge controversy, and we're going to have to talk about it again. So, yeah. Okay. With that, Rich, let's head into we got to real quick these playoffs, and then esports update, and then we're done. So,
Mhm.
game.
Let's just focus on the World Series.
Yeah, that's all I'm really
Focus
caring
on the
about.
World Series. So we'll talk about the Cubs and baseball offseason next week. So, Mike, as we talked about at the top of the show, the Dodgers win the World Series. Yoshi Yamamoto is your series MVP, well deserved since he threw.
Can you pitching on 0 days rest and going 3 full innings, two and 3/4 innings?
Yep. So
Or
the
2/3.
Dodgers become the first team to win back-to-back World Series since the 2000 Yankees. I would say not knowing what off-season moves other teams are going to make, I think you gotta have the Dodgers as the favorite to probably do a three-peat.
Yep, I agree.
And then the fun fact that I found out about it is a player named Will Smith has been on the winning World Series team for the 6th straight year. Granted, there's only 2 Will Smiths in the league, but a reliever and the Dodgers catcher. But that's still something worth pointing out. But,
Yep.
So maybe the Cubs need to go sign the relief pitcher Will Smith just to put him on the bullpen.
Yeah,
Just to put him in the bullpen to where at least you can say that he was on your roster and he gets a playoff share or something because he was on the roster for some portion of the year.
yep,
And you can always use a lefty. You can always use a lefty in your bullpen.
yep. Okay. Also, let's talk about some mistakes that were made that probably cost the game.
Yeah, there were ninth inning. You had the bases loaded. You had the bases loaded in the ninth. You alluded to it with Miguel Rojas making that little bit of a bobble, but making an off-balance throw, guns down the runner at home. It was a close call that got reviewed on whether the catcher's spike was above the base but not touching the base.
And it came off. It 100% came off, but he tapped it back down and made sure.
Before the runner points out. So my initial thought on it, before I started seeing other people posting on it, was why was the runner even sliding?
Yep.
It wasn't like he wasn't blocking the plate, and
Why wasn't he? Why didn't he have a leadoff? Why was the play that close?
There was nothing, and the guy was brought in as the pinch runner.
Yeah.
But and then I'm seeing other posts about it saying that why weren't you sliding head first? And they go in circle. You were wearing a sliding mitt. That gets you a couple inches on your.
Yep.
That adds a couple of inches to your fingertips.
Yep. Yeah,
and I think they pointed out like that lead foot was up in the air as he was sliding too. So you got to slam it down or get it down while you're sliding to get in there. So
yeah, that whole play was crazy. Again, Miguel Rojas.
Miguel Rojas saving the team, making it great.
Twice.
I don't know if he was
in the ninth.
You were saying Miguel Rojas series MVP.
No. I was saying game MVP. Literally just game.
Oh, okay. Maybe I must have read that wrong in the moment.
I meant game. If I said series, no. Game MVP. No. Okay. No way. With what Yamamoto did, there's no way Yoshi did anybody deserved it over Yoshi. And then you have runners on the corner in the 11th. You're down 1.
My mind, I'm thinking, all right, do you go little league here,
or small ball, or
small ball league? Do you send the trailing runner to second base? And either, because 3 things can happen here. You get defensive indifference. They give them the base because there were 2 out. They
only had 1. They had to,
do they give them defensive do you play defensive indifference and give them the base? As all right, our focus is the guy at the plate.
Yep.
We'll give you second base. 2, they throw down. Giving you the option to send Vlad Guerrero home on a wild play just to see what happens and get that winning runner in. Or, you know what? If anything, or
he gets gunned down
out at first, and at least you can make the strategy of saying, whoa, you don't walk it, you don't go it. You were saying, well, it'd be hard to make a second out on the base pass.
Yeah.
When your team's down by 1. My argument was, you know what? Try anything possible to get out of the double play. Maybe that turns into a hit and run on the play.
How about
you've opened up a hole? You've opened up holes on the infield.
How about a safety bunt?
A safety squeeze could have been.
Safety squeeze could have gotten you a tie at least.
Yeah, because that runner was playing way off the bag.
Yeah.
He wasn't holding Guerrero on. They weren't playing for a bunt.
You get a bunt. Vlad gets home. You get another inning to do something, and they didn't do that.
Yep.
But at the same time, what it seemed like is especially that the no leads and all that, they were playing to not lose, or it was as close to prevent defense as I could come up with.
Yeah.
Prevent offense, I guess, is what you would call it.
Yeah, that's what was. That's where I thought you were going to go with it as you were mid sentence there, because I mean, yeah, you had the catcher up, so a safety squeeze with probably one of your slower runners might not have been the best bait. Going home, breaking for home if they had thrown the first with your superstar player who isn't known for stealing bases might not be the wisest move.
Yeah. So
I don't know what the speed of the runner was on first base.
You kind of had to. It played out the way it played out. The Dodgers. I am very upset with the baseball community saying, and we've said it even, that the Dodgers bought a World Series, the last 2 World Series. Yeah, they have the highest, but the Blue Jays were a great team.
They were a great team, and you really can't make the argument of they bought a World Series. The Blue Jays were 3rd in payroll in all of baseball. There was probably a big gap. I don't know what the gap is between 3rd and 1st, but they were still the 3rd highest payroll team.
I'm not here for that. It sucks. Whatever. It's over. So, you owe me lunch.
I do.
We'll figure that out when we do. But, besides that, one of the best World Series we've seen in years. So, with that, Rich,
I think this is probably the most World Series games I've watched in a single World Series game in a while. I think probably since 16. In all honesty. Yeah, because I really didn't have much invested in those Astros Braves World Series games. Didn't really have much invested last year. Of having no reason why I want to watch those games.
I watched all of the games in 2016. Most years I watch 3 games. This year I watched like 4 or 5 games. So yeah, I was in. Real quick, esports update. We didn't make state, so we're done for the season. We're not doing a winter season, so we won't have to talk esports until spring. With that, Rich, what's it time to do? Any shout outs?
Yeah, we got to give some shout outs, Mike. It was it's the Marine Corps' birthday. It was the Marine Corps' birthday recently, so
that's coming up tomorrow.
Okay. So a happy birthday to Marine Joe Perry, and a happy Veterans Day to my brothers in arms at the 123rd Field Artillery, and my grandpa as a Cold War era veteran, as he was stationed over in Germany during the Korean War.
So Marine Corps birthday is the 10th, the day before Veterans Day, but also, and by the way, this is the 250th birthday of the Marine Corps, I believe. Anyway,
I think you're right. I think you're right on that.
250 years. Rich, happy Veterans Day, sir. Thank you for your service. I think about all the guys that I know, all the Marines that I know, all the Army vets that I know. I got guys at church that are active duty that I'm good friends with, and thank you is not enough. But yeah, I'm proud of all of you, and yeah. So with that, Rich, how about you take us out?
Well, let's go ahead and roll the outro, and make sure to catch us next week over on wherever you watch us on either on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, just to name a few. And you can find our poll questions over on Fans of Balls and Sticks on the Facebook. Go ahead and roll the outro.
Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa, this is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rich.